I agree with Canada. 1 month of pride just isn't enough. And what, you just want 2 months? I mean, come on, show some support. 3 months? Well, they can call that pride season. But then it's just one season, come on. But you go to 6 months and then it's just always pride time and then that's too much. But maybe 4 months. We can call it pride times 4. We'll even have a symbol for it. Yeah, that's about right. Right there. So one of the most obnoxious things I hear when you're talking to normies is they'll say, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. And you're like, yeah, it's a conspiracy. You're not one of those dumbasses that think there are no conspiracies. You're not one of those dumbasses that thinks you just turn on the television and get the truth, or that your little niche media that's actually funded by Soros is filtering you hey, psst, come here. This is the secret news here. This is the truth. And it's where does your money come from? And why do your views align up perfectly with what the mainstream media wants you to say and believe anyway? And what do they say about the collapse of Building 7? Oh yeah, melting office furniture. Just like the mainstream news. Okay, so think about that when you're evaluating your sources a little bit. But sometimes to help people get through their mental blocks, this matrix that the mainstream information network has created between people's ability to think and reality, it helps to puncture it with little bits of truth. And one of the better ways to do this is to start with conspiracies that everyone agrees are actually true. Now, I'm not suggesting you look at the pesticide astrazine, which can turn male frogs into female frogs, which led to Alex Jones' famous "the frogs are turning gay" quote. But in a way, it's similar. It's one that just sounds so absurd it can't possibly be true, except basically every source out there admits that it is. In 1994, the U.S. military actually considered building a gay bomb. The idea of a gay bomb came from a desire to debilitate and distract their opponents, but not necessarily to kill them. The idea is the bomb would drop a mixture of chemicals, pheromones, and whatnot on the enemy and literally turn them gay, which would apparently distract them from their wartime duties and make it difficult for them to fight. Which to a certain extent I can understand. I mean, imagine if you had to go to war and you were facing off against an army of machine gun wielding busty Amazons. It would be kind of hard to shoot back. Can't we come up with some other solution? Then, Yeah. In 1994, the U.S. Department of Defense was looking into theoretical chemical weapons that would disrupt enemy morale, debilitating enemy soldiers, but not going so far as to kill them. So researchers at the Wright Laboratory in Ohio, a predecessor to today's the United States Air Force Research Lab, began exploring alternative options. They put together a 3-page proposal in which they detailed their $7.5 million invention, the gay bomb. The gay bomb would be a cloud of gas that would be discharged over enemy camps that contained a chemical that would cause enemy soldiers to become gay and have their units break down because all their soldiers would become irresistibly attractive to one another. And like I said earlier, to the enemy, right? The scientists continued to suggest additions to the gay bomb, including aphrodisiacs and other scents. However, the gay bomb was only ever theoretical and never put into motion. However, it was proposed to the National Academy of Sciences in 2002 and sparked a series of other equally unusual chemical warfare ideas. According to Captain Dan McSweeney of the Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Directorate at the Pentagon, the Department of Defense receives hundreds of projects per year, but none of these particular theories ever took off. None of the systems described in that 1994 proposal have been developed, he said. Despite that fact, the researchers who conceptualized the gay bomb were actually awarded the IG Nobel Prize, a parody award which celebrates unusual scientific achievements that first make people laugh and then make them think. Thinking indeed. Thinking about why was it that something 30 years ago that was considered a massive detriment to an army's capabilities is now considered our greatest strength. I mean, what would that gay bomb have done? I mean, it's, as many people have argued, it's not like in a combat situation you're going to be overcome by your lusts and instantly just drop your weapons and start pumping. So it's like, what would you have done? Well, it would have infected every aspect of military life. Showering, cleaning, sleeping, who's sitting next to who in the cafeteria, broken hearts, not wanting to get dirty. And there's a host of other side effects besides just making them drop their weapons and be like, oh, I can't possibly shoot him. There could be a massive outbreak of monkeypox, as we're seeing, which is now the latest medical emergency, or gay bowel syndrome. You could strike down half of an enemy's military and they'll come down with gay bowel syndrome. What is that? Named as an illness in 1976, it is a clinical pattern of anorectal and colon diseases encountered with unusual frequency in these homosexual patients is termed the gay bowel syndrome. The clinical diagnosis in decreasing order of frequency include condylarmona acuminata, hemorrhoids, nonspecific proctitis, anal fistula, pararectal abscesses, anal fissure, amoebiasis, benign polyps, viral hepatitis, gonorrhea, syphilis, anorectal trauma, foreign bodies, shigellosis, rectal ulcers, lymphogranuloma venereum, and incontinence. But hey, it looks like they've created some Pride adult diapers for that issue. But you might want to buy yours now because supplies are running out. Other than that, having thousands of effeminate men with machine guns running around in their diapers with various stages of bowel injury, I can't really see how this would debilitate an army, and since the fact that spreading it through pheromones has proven ineffective because human sexuality is vastly more complex than simply the way that other people smell, this is just another in the long history of creative and yet failed weapon ideas. And besides, they found a far more effective delivery mechanism: culture.